This tutorial is to aid in the completion of Excel Project 10. Go ahead and open up Excel. And this is a spreadsheet. We're going to use columns A through E to begin with. Then we're going to be making a lot of adjustments to this. You will be reviewing using multiplication, subtraction, addition, and then you will also be introduced to the division feature in Excel. And for division, we're going to use the slash, which is located right next to the shift key on your keyboard. We'll start by clicking in cell A1, turn your cap lock on, and we'll key our main heading. Then we'll click in cell A2 or press enter to go to A2, turn your cap lock off and key in your subheading. Be sure you skip a row before you do your column headings. Now this one, there are column headings that some of them have 3 lines. So we want to make sure that we're leaving enough room for those column headings. So we're going to start with the top row in column B and do revenues in, and then in C4 we have projected, and then we're going to go under revenues in and put in millions. And then under projected, we'll do revenues. And then in cell E5, we have net. Now you'll go to row 6 and key in the rest of your column headings. All right, now there are our column headings. Now we do run into a problem with our column headings in columns B and C because those are numbers, but we want them to act as text and not to be addressed as a number. So I'm going to highlight those 2 cells, and I'm going to go to my number group and click on the drop down, and I'm going to change those to be text. That way when I use a formula, it does not try to include those in an auto sum or any other formula. We don't want our numbers to be wrong. Okay, then let's go ahead and key in the information that goes under each column heading. I'm going to spread these out just a little so we can see our individual columns. All right, after I key in column A, I'm going to widen that column so I can see my text well. Now, in the revenues in millions column, we do not need to type the zeros after the decimal place. So we're going to just keep it pretty simple. Don't type in the dollar signs or the commas. We'll add those automatically with the computer. Now, we don't know the amounts that go in any of the other columns to begin with. Oh, I do have a typo there, net income. So we're going to go ahead and refer to the instructions and add the rest of the formatting that needs to take place. So we'll start with our main heading, make it bold and 15 point, and then we're going to merge and center it through column E. And then our subheading, we go ahead and merge and center through column E. Now our column headings, we have 3 rows. We have rows 4, 5, and 6. We'll highlight all 3 rows and go ahead and center. Then only highlight the bottom row, which is row 6, and turn on your underline. Then it says to format the figures in columns B through E to currency. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. Even though we don't have numbers in C, D, and E, we can pre-format those so that when we do put the numbers in, they will be currency. To come up with our values under projected revenues 2019, we are going to multiply the revenues in millions by 135%. So we'll do equals, click on revenues in millions, times, which is the asterisk, 135, and the percent symbol. Then do Control Enter to display the answer. Grab your fill handle and drag that down. For your taxes, we're going to multiply the projected revenues by 42%. So we'll do equals, click on your projected revenues, which is C7, times 42 and the percent symbol. Control Enter to stay in the same cell. Click and drag down to copy your formula. Now we're going to, it says subtract the taxes column from the projected revenues column and place it in net income. Now remember, when we're doing our formula, whatever it tells us to subtract from is what we click on first, and it says to subtract it from the projected revenues. So I'll click on C7 minus the taxes, which is D7, Control Enter to display the answer, and then grab your fill handle and drag that down. Our next step tells us to go ahead and total columns B through E. So we'll click in cell B12, and we're going to use an auto sum. Now it is going to try to pick up that 2009. We don't want that to happen, so I'm going to highlight from B7 down through B11 to readjust my auto sum. Do Control Enter. Now it's going to give us this little hazard sign here, and if we click on that, it tells us that a formula omits adjacent cells. It's just referring to that number that's above. Even though it's text, it recognizes that there's numbers. It wants to see if we want to use it. We can go ahead and tell it to ignore the error, and that little symbol will go away. Go ahead and use your fill handle and drag that formula across to the right to fill those in. We also want to go to cell A12 and turn on our bold and cap locks and key in the word totals. And then we'll highlight A12 through E12 and put in our top and double bottom border to finish off that totals row. We do need to adjust our column widths, so highlight from A to E and then move your mouse pointer on top of the line between E and F. You'll get a two-headed arrow, double click to make that adjustment. Now we're going to add our header. We'll go to Insert, Header and Footer, and in the left we want to put our name. In the center we'll put our class period, and then at the right we want to put the file name. You'll go ahead and click on this file name button. We need to finish things off before we're ready to submit. We need to add an average here. It says to leave one blank row underneath total. So I'm going to go to cell A14, and then we're going to type in the word average, no bold or all caps, it's just normal. And then in cell B14, we are going to use division to calculate the average. I know we know the average formula, but we need you to know how to use division, so we thought this would be the easiest way. So we're going to do an equals sign, and then click on the total underneath revenues in millions, 2009. And then for division, we use the slash, and then we'll put in a number 5. So B12 slash B5 or slash 5, and then do Control Enter to come up with that average. Make sure the average is formatted as currency with 2 decimals. We also need to center our page horizontally and vertically. So we'll go to Page Layout, Launch Page Setup, click on Margins and put a check mark by horizontally and vertically. Choose OK. Then we need to double check that our header's there for sure. If we've made changes, we can run a spell check again. Alright, we want to make sure that we have our file saved correctly, so we're going to go to File and Save As, and we want to make sure that we put this in our Student Drive, in our Computer Tech folder, in our Excel folder, and we're going to name it Project 10A. And then click on Save. Then we'll take a look at our print preview and make sure everything is placed where it needs to be. If it looks good, we'll go ahead and go to Save and Send, Create PDF, and you can go ahead and click on Publish. You can close that PDF when it opens. Then we need to convert our spreadsheet to text. We do that by holding down the Control key and pressing the tilde button or the accent button, which is above your Tab key on your keyboard. That will spread things out, and now we can see our formulas. You do need to readjust your column widths. And then we want to be sure everything's fitting on one page, and a way to be extra safe is to go to Page Layout, launch the Page Setup group, and then on the Page tab, you're going to go to Fit To, and make sure it says 1 page wide by 1 tall, and choose OK. Then let's go ahead and go to our Print Preview again. Make sure things are definitely on one page only, and then we're going to go to Save As, and we'll change this one to 10B. And then we'll convert this one to a PDF. And when our PDF pulls up, go ahead and close it, and now you can submit both files to Canvas.